Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to some more Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational action. I am Basekip, bringing you guys this game, and this is going to be game 2 of a best of 3 set between Fnatic, who are going to be over on the Radiant side, and No Tidehunter, who are now going to be over on the Dire, and we're just going to unpause and start getting underway with this game. So, game 1, pretty convincing showing from NTH, I believe going for a very aggressive push strategy. Again, this is actually much later in the week than the first replay for this set, so I had to have a quick look and sort of see what was going on there, get myself a little bit of a reminder as to what happened. But anyway, back doing these replays and trying to get my 7 replays for the week done, because that's how much practice I want to be getting done every single week as far as my casting is concerned, because if I can't commit to that, then I won't really be able to commit to any reasonable schedule. So anyway, we're going to be getting underway with this game right now. And Fnatic going to start us off with a ban on Chen. So trying to sort of lock out that a really aggressive pushing strategy right from the word go. And nothing too surprising there given sort of what happened in the last game. Chen as a ban is going to push some things through into the pool, as well as we'll probably see just moving forward in the draft. And I don't think NTH are going to go for the same thing twice. We'll see what they're going to be able to finagle through into the pool. NTH do have second pick here, so if they manage to push some things through into the pool, they can actually grab sort of more of the overpowered heroes, I suppose. So they're going to choose to remove Nyx. Keeper of the Light is still in the pool, as is Batrider. If Fnatic only ban one of the two, then Fnatic ban one of the two, then No Tidehunter will probably ban the other, depending on how highly they value Magnus. And who else am I forgetting at the moment? No, NTH actually going to go for the Wisp ban here, so that's going to leave Keeper of the Light in the pool. Fnatic actually going to go for Lone Druid here, so sort of looking like a push strategy of their own, though Lone Druid, a pretty versatile hero overall, and NTH going to go for Coddle. No big surprises there. Might even go, well, not going to be a PL right off the bat, it's going to be a Magnus as well, so just strong staples for both sides. Fnatic, they've got the flexibility of the Lone Druid. NTH have the peskiness of the Keeper of the Light. Lone Druid, pretty good against Keeper of the Light, honestly, have to say. Can sort of continue pushing even after his creep wave gets completely wiped out, though it is obviously at the expense of some damage on the bear. So it's okay. Unfortunately, Lone Druid's sort of overall pushing style can be stalled out by Coddle, but Fnatic going to go for PL here. So looks like Lone Druid going to be pushed across to the off lane, sort of into a recovery farm position. And PL going to be the carry for Fnatic here. So NTH not in a bad spot to try and go for an aggressive trial, and it comes down to a question of execution. And right off the bat, seeing this from Fnatic, there is now a lot of weight on how well their mid lane does. If they get pressured by an aggressive trial lane and they get sort of three heroes on 3 heroes forced, locked into Mortal Kombat on bottom lane, then there's an argument to be made whether that's good or bad for them. If their mid lane does really, really well, then they're in a pretty good spot, because Lone Druid should more or less do well against his sort of solo versus solo pairing. But if their mid lane doesn't do well and the tri lane starts to come under threat, then Lone Druid isn't a hero that can sort of rotate in and say, well, here I am, I've got levels, I'm going to sort of get my Phantom Lancer back into the game by being scary. It's not really the case, so Fnatic picked themselves up a nice defensive support here in the Rubik. We'll see if they're going to have to try and, see if they're going to be aggressively trialing against by NTH. Not sure if it's 100% their style, so to speak, though we'll have to see. And right now, I'd really love to see a gyrocopter from them. Would fit fantastically with sort of the aggression that I think they need to be applying. And a gyrocopter with a Divine Rapier is pretty much the only way to reliably deal with Phantom Lancers. So NTH, I would love to see a gyro from them. I don't know if it's going to make it through to the second round either. So if they want it, they think they pretty much have to take it now. They might even be considering Shadow Demon here as well. Pick up Shadow Demon plus Coddle plus some form of disabling, some sort of disabling farmer, and then try and take things aggressively against Fnatic. It could even be worth taking the SD here. He's probably going to be banded as well by Fnatic moving forward. As far as lanes are concerned right now for NTH, again, it would be nice to see them run an aggressive tri lane with Keeper of the Light. And they're actually going to go for a Bane, so a nice pickup as well for that sort of aggressive strategy. Keeper of the Light Bane plus Gyrocopter is something that Empire have been known to do quite a bit. And Fnatic actually going to go for a Faceless Void ban here. So, a little bit interesting. I guess fits in a little bit better with the defensive stylings of NTH. Though the thing with Faceless Void is that you can't really pick him up saying, okay, Faceless Void, you're going to build a Mjolnir or a Battle Fury, and you're going to sit there and you're going to right-click down all of PL's illusions, and that's how we're going to win the game. Realistically, for a Faceless Void to beat a Phantom Lancer, you need to stall long enough for his physical his just single target damage output to be really, really good. Maybe he gets a Mjolnir for some incidental AoE as well, or maybe he gets a Battle Fury for faster farming, but he really needs to just be able to kill PL in the duration of the chrono, or kill one of the other really important targets on PL's team, so that they can just turn around and focus PL to death. Or he kills the rest of the team and you finish PL off last. But NTH going to choose to ban out Enchantress here, so looks like they might be considering taking this aggressive. I don't know if they're going to be able to get the Gyrocopter through, but if it does make it all the way through, then I wouldn't be too surprised to see them pick it up. If they do, that leaves them looking for another solo, which might just be something like Luna played by Loda. I want to say sort of in that safe lane, but Lone Druid versus Luna, not really a super awesome matchup for the Luna. And Nake's going to be the ban out here by No Tidehunter. Not sure what's really motivating that. I mean, he's sort of a jungler, he's a pretty good solo versus solo, frankly, but I don't think Fnatic are going to be looking to run Lone Druid on mid. So I'm not sure 100% about that Nake's ban. I've got a Bounty Hunter and Nature's Prophet bans from Fnatic, so expecting, well, with a Nature's Prophet ban, expecting that NTH are going to be going aggressive, and the Bounty Hunter ban sort of just covering their Phantom Lancer. Well, the two bans are a little bit at odds with one another. The Nature's Prophet is not a surprising pick from NTH in a lot of situations. They'll run it as their offlane / farmer, they'll run it as a greedy farmer, as in a greedy farmer because they have an offlane, a jungle, a duo in the safe lane, and then a mid, so they're getting they're getting 4 lanes for the farm effectively. They're running all sorts of situations. It's none too surprising there. And even in a tri-lane situation where they're running an aggressive tri-lane and then they have the Nature's Prophet TP in to make it 4v3, that's great as well. But the Bounty Hunter, yes, he's pretty good in solo versus solo, but he's more than likely just a sort of off lane to be a pest to Phantom Lancer, make sure that the supports don't leave him alone too much. So at least to my mind, the two bans are a little bit at odds with one another, but that's sort of just what I'm reading out of the draft here. And NTH now in a really good spot to pick up some aggressive heroes, try and put the pressure on Fnatic early game. But they're actually going to choose to ban out an Earthshaker here, so a very defensive support. One that has been seeing a little bit more play of late, but I don't know. I think they maybe should have been targeting some mids or something along those lines. Again, I haven't been watching as much Dota of late as I would have liked, so maybe Fnatic have been trying some more innovative strategies or something like that of late, but really I would have expected to see some mid bans from NTH try and secure themselves a really strong mid lane, and then lock themselves into that aggressive tri-lane, especially given that Fnatic haven't picked up their mid right now. So Fnatic pretty much looking for another solo, looking for that, one of their top 3 farmers, and then a second support. NTH looking sort of for their carry and an additional solo, and Puck is going to be the choice here from Fnatic. So that's more than likely just going to be their mid. A really nice hero if the other team tries to go tri-lane. As soon as you got that Dream Coil, you can pretty much come down and hopefully triple kill. And normally the big thing, the big downside with Puck is that you say, well, their nukes are really, really weak comparatively to, a whole bunch of other heroes. And before, some recent changes, Puck actually had trouble just nuking down a creep wave past a certain point in the game. Just didn't have enough damage between Elusive Orb and Waning Rift, but some recent changes have helped that out a little bit. And the really nice thing, obviously, about an aggressive tri-lane is that, especially a dire aggressive tri-lane, is that they don't have any supplemental sources of experience, right? What they're getting is just whatever creeps are there. And that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that they're being pulled against as well, and everybody's under-leveled, and everybody's sort of level 3 and 4 by the time Puck gets 7 and considers coming down and trying to gank. But NTH going to go for a Beastmaster here. So Beastmaster could be their offlane, could be their mid. Magnus Beastmaster could be their 2 solos, and then just try and pick up a carry for that top lane. But like the choice, nice lockdown against Phantom Lancer, gives them some good push as well. We got pretty formidable mid games. Really some nice team fight between the Bane the Magnus and the Beastmaster, and we'll see how they choose to round things off here. I'm interested to see how this is going to be laned as well. And Fnatic right now just looking for that last support. I think Rubik really nice to have against Magnus, Bane, and Beastmaster, so a fantastic pick there from Fnatic. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Shadow Demon here as the last support, though it could be anything. Maybe go for somebody who's a little bit stronger in the try versus try, though not 100% sure if NTH are going to be going for it. They might just have the Beastmaster sort of off lane, and it's actually going to be a Lion here from Fnatic, so a bit of a, well, not a non-traditional support, but not a support that we've been seeing as much of in the CM environment as of late. So I like the pickup, gives them a ton of lockdown, and a lockdown target is one that's very, very easy for PL to bring down. And we're just going to see a Luna to round things off here for NTH. So probably, yeah, just going to be played by Loda, but I'm really, really interested to see how these lanes are going to be run. You can see how the farm priority is going to be distributed. Keeper of the Light down at 5, Bane at 4, Magnus or Beastmaster at 3, Magnus / Beastmaster 2, 3, and then Luna's going to be up at 1. But it's going to be interesting to see how these lanes are going to be run. Whether it's going to be aggressive with Coddle, Bane, Luna, and then the 2 melee solos, or whether it's going to be an offlane Beastmaster or an offlane Mag or something like that. It is S4 playing the Beastmaster, so it looks like it might just be mid. And then, yeah, Bulldog playing the Magnus. So it looks like it's just going to be mid Beastmaster, Magnus offlane, and then Luna, Coddle, and Bane potentially heading towards top. We'll see in a little bit. So anyway, getting into the game. On NTH, we've got S4 playing the Beastmaster. Admiral Bulldog is going to be on Magnus. We've got EGM playing Bane. Ake is going to be on Keeper of the Light. And that leaves Loda to play the Luna. No big surprises there. I think one of his most played heroes sort of in recent memory. Over on Fnatic, we've got Trixie playing Lindred. Hani is going to be on Puck. We've got Fly playing Rubik. No Tail on Lion. And that leaves Era to play the Phantom Lancer. And we've got a little bit of jungle invasion happening to start things out from NTH. They've got pretty good level 1 fight potential. I have to say, everybody sort of holding their skill points for now. And Fnatic just catch a glimpse of them, so they're going to be running themselves out. And NTH, actually a bit of an interesting strategy right here. Choosing to throw down a ward in a spot that will block the pull camp, but also putting a sentry in a position that will block the camp just on the very edge of its spawn box. So Fnatic, if they place a sentry ward back here, I can't actually draw on the map because I'm not a broadcaster, but if they place a ward back here, which is the standard D-ward location for this side of the Radiant pull, then they'll be able to find this one and be happy with themselves and think, I D-warded it. But this is going to persist for about 3 minutes, well, for exactly 3 minutes, and still get a couple of blocks off. So Fnatic might be forced to invest both of their, well, if they have any sentries, which they don't, in fact. Do they have any spare gold? Fly can get some sentries fairly quickly, but they don't actually have any at the moment. So that block is going to be successful at least for a while. It doesn't look like Fnatic were suspecting an aggressive tri-lane since they've picked up a smoke, and normally you can't smoke out of an aggressive tri-lane. You can't really leave Phantom Lancer, but well, you can't really leave Phantom Lancer behind. Admiral Bulldog, 0-minute rune for him. He's got a free experience rune, aka an Invis rune, so he's just going to be able to sit in here with an 1100 range. Fnatic, even though there's nobody here, they should still be diligent with their denies, both for lane control and just, you know, Bulldog could be hiding in the trees over here. He could be anywhere. And yeah, Era just doing a good job of staying on top of those denies. So, just, well, a little bit greedy from NTH. They will effectively run the Keeper of the Light as a jungler, as you can see, sort of stacking up the small camp at the moment. So it's not too bad. They're still making, well, they're still getting good efficiency out of the map, and I guess I sort of talked about the buffaloing strategy last game. It's very similar to what's happening this game. And S4 all the way back behind the tower, not even enough mana for axes. Tanks about 3 tower pops there. Really aggressive play from him. Hani knew that S4 would not even consider hitting him once with the axe because it would, I mean, he would have just aggroed the tower immediately and taken even more hits. So pretty aggressive from S4. Looks like he does already have his bottle flying out, so not really paying too much there, but... And our mid lane... actually off to a slightly better start for S4. Hani getting the denies off, but it hurts a melee hero. a lot less to be denied against than it does for a ranged, so S4 not actually that far behind as far as experience is concerned right now. And that's the fresh wave, so you can get an idea of sort of where they're at right now. S4 only a little bit behind. A really nice phase shift there from Hani, however. So Fnatic, the decision from them is actually just been to completely abandon the offlane. Trixie has headed himself into the jungle, so expect NTH to be pulling ahead quite a bit as far as experience is concerned. Our 2-minute rune is just a haste up on Hani. Looks like S4 went for that one as well. Neither team actually has rune vision right now. Looks like Fnatic are just rotating supports a little bit around to sort of get vision whenever it spawns, but the warding situation is a little bit curious right now, I have to say. We've got some sentries up on No-Tail now, and they actually throw down the slightly more... well, they throw down the non-standard D-ward, and they spot the sentry, but they don't spot this obs just yet, so this is really sneaky play from NTH, but I love it. As a support, it's great to see. And yeah, it's a nice little strategy. They invest quite a bit, but they keep the camp blocked out. And if you can keep this camp blocked out, then there's no real access to this camp. Fnatic are stacking it now just to try and bank up some experience for later on in the game, but they don't really have anyone that clears it super quickly at the moment. And S4 on mid, cops a little bit of harassment, but now he's going to turn himself around. He knows that Hani does not have an illusory orb at the moment, threatens the Axe's No-Tail. Now comes up S4 Sixth Sense somehow from him. Considers the Axis, but just turns around. We've got the two supports just smoked down in the river. This might be our first blood here on mid. Will S4 walk up? He's considering it. He walks up. Oh, Fly and No-Tail reveal themselves. But S4, I don't know what's going on. Spidey sense is tingling here, but doing a really good job and just makes it at... well, gets the supports to reveal themselves. But just dancing right on this ridge and doing a really good job of not dying there. So some wasted time for the Fnatic supports. They're both still unfortunately level 1 at the moment since the pole camp is still blocked off. We might see No-Tail consider throwing down a second sentry now that they're... well, now that they see that the camp is still blocked, but no, the decision is just going to be to walk down. So right now, experience a little bit in favor of the No-Tidehunter side. Looks like Trixie managed to head up towards top and soak up some experience. So the minor disadvantage of taking a really early tier 1 sort of shining through there for NTH. And our 4-minute urn, just a double damage. Looks like that one was camped out by Admiral Bulldog, so S4 quite handily able to grab that one. And looks like we don't actually have rune vision up just yet for Fnatic, still just relying on having support sort of poke their head around to see what's going on. But we do finally have some rune vision up for No Tidehunter at the moment, so... Bulldog only level 2. The offlane comparison isn't really fair because Trixie is actually in the jungle, and Admiral Bulldog doesn't really have that luxury. Ake now just chilling out in the jungle himself, so I guess the fair comparison is between sort of Trixie and Ake at the moment. And yeah, just doing a good job, casually stacking away, farming up, and should be a pretty quick mech from him, I would suspect. And Magnus not really going to be able to get there himself, though. Bulldog still soaking up some farm. No last hits just yet, so this is all pretty much just passive gold right now from him. But the most important thing for the offlane is that he just doesn't die, and doing a good job of that so far. And Fnatic still not able to run this pull. The ward is about to despawn, but that's 6 minutes worth of absolutely no pulls for the Fnatic side. Both their supports pretty much level 1. Flying does now have level 2. No-Tail almost there as well. And we're going to have a second smoke popping off from them, so we'll see if this one's going to be able to profit them anything, as it looks like they're going to make a second rotation towards mid. Hani does now have Dream Coil up, so if S4 stays a little bit closer, we might see a coil, but S4 just backs himself straight out. Bulldog just walked in here right now and says the supports are not here. I don't know where they are, but S4, be careful. S4 walks in, gets coiled, he's got a double damage, gonna pop it, but looks like he's gone. And Trixie even coming in for this kill as well. It's going to be our first blood drawn by Fly on the middle lane. So Fnatic throw a 4-man gank, but they do manage to connect it. And Bulldog, well, going to be able to go down and grab the 6-minute rune, but needs to get himself out of there very, very quickly. Can't be too sneaky with these illusions as well. And we do finally have some pulls available for Fnatic, but it's going to be a while for these supports to sort of get the levels that they need. And level 6 is enormously significant on Rubik in this game, given the lineup that NTH are running. Pretty much all of their heroes are great to steal from, and it's really important for the line as well. That first, well, even though the Finger of Death has a ridiculously long cooldown at level 6, it's still just ridiculously strong, and the range is just crazy now as well. So, I mean, it's 450 damage after reductions, and Bulldog, down at level 2, doesn't really have that much health. But we'll see. He's probably going to be able to soak up a couple of levels before it comes to that. So, we've just passed 6 minutes. All the initial wards are sort of, well, despawned, but all the rest of the wards which are placed sort of in between are still up. S4 makes his way back towards mid. Looks like he's actually the one working his way towards the mech at the moment, so Ake, not sure what he's just going to be doing. Looks like it's just straight consumables for the moment. They might be trying to get some arcanes or maybe a blink up on EGM, or they could even be just trying to go for a Necrobook or something like that on him. I'm not sure how stressed NTH feel about the late game. I think they should be concerned against both Lone Druid and Phantom Lancer. If Phantom Lancer gets out of hand, then Phantom Lancer gets out of hand, and a farmed Luna is just not enough to deal with PL, so I think the onus right now is on NTH to try and get towers early, try and push in, get these teamfight items up, and then, yeah, if they can secure a tower on mid, finally take the fight to PL. Down towards bot. 8-minute rune spawns up on top. Hani able to grab that one. EGM chasing. He's got Nightmare up. S4 comes in as well. It looks like he's... Oh, S4 indecision on the pathing. Is he going to be able to get this roar off? No. TP support comes in from Fly. Looks like Hani's going to be absolutely fine. Pops up the regen as well and gets a sneaky little last hit at the same time. So, nicely played. Some indecision from S4. I guess the decision in the end was not to go for it. But... no kill in the end for No Tidehunter. Still not on the board just yet, just sort of farming away at the moment. They are ahead in terms of both gold and experience right now, and a lot of that due to Ake just hanging out in the jungle now up to level 6. So they're getting some split push online as well, and Spirit Form actually the pickup for Ake right at 6, which is sometimes not the case for Keeper of the Light. So it does sort of show that NTH are looking for that map mobility, they're looking for that push. And hopefully they're going to be able to find it. Admiral Bulldog, unfortunately, not quite level 6 just yet. Only down at level 3. Trixie comes in. Is there going to be an Entangle? He's already stunned up, and there's the Entangle just to ensure things. Admiral Bulldog will drop with a not-so-subtle gank from Trixie there. But now up to level 8 as well, so doing a really good job. And things looking pretty good for Fnatic, have to say. Off to a good start with the better sort of late-game setup right now. And Hani very, very close to his Blink Dagger on mid. Not quite as farmed as S4, but the Blink versus Mech, which is the more significant pickup, there's an argument to be had there. But the Blink, definitely a huge boost for the puck, and S4 with his 1 death. I guess his last hits are a little bit deceiving. He's lost, I would suspect, some net worth. No, he's still ahead in terms of net worth, so S4 doing a good job in terms of farm so far. We've got a smoke making its way up towards top right now from NTH, but it's not actually going to spot anyone out. Hani is still just chilling out on mid. They've got a really aggressive ward all the way back behind the tower. Fly's going to walk up onto the hill, and I think that's just going to be his death right away. Axis will fly. They're not going to have to use a roar here. Illuminate didn't connect. Unfortunately, a consolation prize, really, the Rubik in this situation. And Fnatic not going to be unhappy about his death. Looks like NTH going to try and secure themselves a tower up on top as well. S4 going for a really aggressive pushing build as well with these 3 points up in the inner beast. And Hani now with his Blink Dagger finished. Looks like Fnatic just going to be happy to give away this tower on top. The problem for NTH is going to be whether or not they can make it up onto the high ground, and Admiral Bulldog on mid will hold that thought. He got Dream Coil, but still surviving. Roarfly is out from S4. Hani in trouble. Are the chops going to be enough? Phase Shift just comes off cooldown at the end of that one. And No Tail trying to book it out. Buy some items as well, just to try and get rid of that unreliable gold. And no, I'm not sure if he... No, he's got definitely some unreliable gold at the moment. So looks like he just bought those a little bit earlier. But a nice turnaround from NTH. Mass TPs. They don't manage to grab the tier 2 up on top. But the tier 1 on mid, an even better prize right now, so... Not going to be wholly unhappy with that one, but TPs are coming in right now. S4 and Admiral Bulldog trying to get out, but in comes Era. S4 in trouble. He's got the mech, gets stunned up, popped the mech at just the last second, but looks like he's going to go down regardless, gets up onto the high ground. But no, 4 heroes chasing him down, plus a bear in tow. Not going to be enough to escape, and the deny from Fnatic. So nicely played there from Fnatic in the end, and oh, Ake in trouble. No, the Waning Rift doesn't connect. One more right click is all that Hani needs, but a bit of a misplay there. EGM, oh, ships in the night. EGM walks straight past Hani there. And now just walks straight back in towards mid. Hani, Dreamcrawl going to be up in just a couple of seconds as well. So we might even see another kill happen on mid. Loda looks like, well, not sure what it's going to be from him. It's a fairly sort of early game build again. NTH realizing that the pressure is on them to try and take some more towers, and S4 now makes his way down towards bot to try and interrupt the happily farming Phantom Lancer, who's actually gone for a fairly early game build himself. No diffusal rush, not really expecting him to get too much farm into the jungle, gets the drum, gets the soul ring, and just gets that survivability up. But he does sort of need the extra mana, given that they don't have Keeper of the Light. S4 reveals himself. Support is forthcoming from Fnatic just from the jungle right now. Looks like No-Tail up on top. He does have a TP scroll ready to go. Admiral Bulldog, no TP, just going to finish farming his arcanes. Not going to be there for this fight, though not level 6 either. We'll see how cautious NTH are going to be about this one. Ake can bring... Yeah, he is going to bring Bulldog in. It's going to be a full engagement, though Fly has disconnected. S4 already gone. Blinding Light knocking everybody back. We're going to have a pause as we take stock of what's happening here. So S4 is already dead. He didn't pop his mech or his wand charges before he went down, which is unfortunate for him. Fly is now reconnected. EGM the target. The Bears chasing him down at the moment. Loda gonna pop the drum charge, try and get everybody out right now. Illuminate sort of charged in the wrong direction. Era still chasing. We've got a long range Spirit Lance there, but EGM gonna be absolutely fine. Just brain saps up. But yeah, S4 just completely bursted down before he could do anything at all. And looks like Fnatic gonna try and turn this into a push. Admiral Bulldog still not level 6. Doesn't have that all-important ultimate. Still trying to soak up some experience. Now finally level 5. They've got good spam. But the back foot is not where NTH want to be at the moment. And Fnatic just say, well, you didn't really do too much. You brought everybody bot. And now we're just going to go and get a little bit more farm. I've got him Hand of Midas up on Trixie. And while Lotus net worth is looking impressive, all 3 farmers from Fnatic in a really good spot right now. It looks like Fnatic... The decision... Well, No-Tail's heading back. He doesn't have a TP scroll on him right now. Not a whole lot of mana. Not enough for Finger of Death. And the tower fairly low, so it's just going to be dropped there by NTH. So they're behind by 2 kills. They're behind by over 3k experience. Gold pretty much dead even, but Fnatic is still yet to take a tower. And if this game swings back... swings back in favor of Fnatic, then the towers are going to be absolutely no problem. So it's up to NTH to be making the most of the gold that they have at the moment, but it's not really a gold advantage, is the unfortunate thing for them right now. And looks like NTH call is going to be made just to head straight into their Shan Pit. This might be a little bit difficult. They do have the maxed out Inner Beast, so it looks like they're going to be fine to bring it down. It is going to be fairly slow. There's no vision from Fnatic, and Fnatic doing a good job. They even blocked off these Ancients as well, sort of once they got wind that Bulldog was stacking them up. So nicely played there by Fnatic, getting a good read on what NTH are doing. We're going to smoke right now from Hani and No-Tail, making their way towards the pit. They're going to be a little bit too late to try and stop this. And Bulldog here just to sort of watch over the pit. Fortunately, the experience gets him up to level 6. Which is good news for him. Fly, however, also level 6 right now, so important levels being sort of gathered all around the map. And what just... Okay, so the smoke found Bulldog on mid. Sorry about missing that kill, guys. Looks like we had Finger of Death popped. I was looking at the top bar, at the little gems, to see who wasn't quite level 6 just yet. But then that one emptied, and with that, sort of Admiral Bulldog's health pool emptied as well. So sorry about that one, guys. Again, yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry. So NTH now down by 3 kills, still down by quite a bit, and momentum is becoming pretty difficult for them to find. They do have an Aegis in hand. They've almost got a level 11 Luna as well, so that Eclipse is going to be a pretty big deal in the coming team fights. But it's really 5-man Dota, group up and push, try and get things done with the mech, try and get things done with their superior team fight. But Fnatic just evading them for now and looking to sort of, well, not even claw their way back into the game, but stay at even footing, take some towers, and until NTH are threatening Arax, I don't think Fnatic are going to be concerned with their situation in this game. Era has only come to fights that have profited him in some way. He hasn't really been pressured this game. And I talked about it in the early game, that if you're going to deal with the Phantom Lancer without tri-laning against him early and aggressively, then you need to do well in your other lanes, and you need to be able to take that big advantage that you have in those other lanes and turn it into something against the Phantom Lancer. If you can't do that, then he's already got sort of 20 minutes of uninterrupted farm. That's going to be his defusal. He's already starting to get really pesky. You've got a lone druid who, as well, has had a really good time so far in this game. Trixie's pulled off some successful ganks. He's been participating. He's got his farm. And NTH, when the call was made for them to take that early tower on top, it was the right decision. It got them a slightly earlier mech on Beastmaster, got them some core items fairly quickly, but it also made space for Trixie, and sort of retroactively now, hindsight is 2020, that farm on Trixie has and will be a problem for NTH moving in. So they're going to find their feet, they're going to group up as 5 and push down in on bot. Fnatic unconcerned for the moment, not even going to blow fortification for this, staying ready to defend the objective that actually matters, the tower, the tier 3 tower, the racks. Fly is already in position, everybody else now heading back. Hani there right now. S4 makes his way up onto the high ground, fortification is going to pop, and Fnatic just, well, I guess having a fire lit under their butts a little bit right now. Getting back into position, they do manage to drive everybody on NTH back, but NTH don't really want to back off. They might want to finish up a Manta style on Loda if they can, but they don't want that to be at the expense of missing out on value on this Aegis. So looks like the Roshan timer is a little bit weird at the moment. I can only suspect that it's about 2.5 minutes remaining with that Aegis, so hopefully NTH will be able to get something out of it. Okay, we saw him get a lot of farm early on, but looks like he's predominantly buying wards. Is fairly tanky for a Keeper of the Light at the moment. EGM, not a whole lot of farm. I made a comment earlier on about where is the farm going to be going, who's going to be sort of being prioritized, but it hasn't really been anyone so far. Era and Trixie make their way up towards top, but if NTH are the ones reacting to Fnatic's moves, then it's already sort of a bad spot for No Tidehunter. And they're going to go back into farming positions for a while. This might lose them the Aegis. It's about 2 minutes. They might be able to get the tier 2 on mid out of the Aegis, but I don't think it's going to be a tier 3 or a Rax. And looks like Lotus sort of just prepping himself for potentially a bit of farm. Dominates the Centaur, might try and get some stacks going, but Fnatic really diligent on just continuing to ward up this stack. And a really nice play for them, I have to say. Just denying NTH sort of their really standard strategy of saying, okay, we are just going to farm the heck out of the map. We're gonna, I guess I called it buffaloing in the last game, where you just take advantage of every single resource available on the map. You farm your jungle, you farm your ancients. If you can't farm it, you stack it. That is sort of, in a nutshell, a lot of NTH's overall strategy, but as you can see, it's not really working out as well as they would probably like right now. They're behind by 3 kills, they're behind by 4k experience, and they are only up by 2k gold without a single tower being taken by Fnatic, while Fnatic are left with only 1 outer tower right now. So S4, net worth starting to look pretty good. Looks like he's gonna have a Blink Dagger up fairly shortly. I'll just bring up the overall item panel so we can have a quick look at what's going on. And that's a new item panel. I have to say, I like this a lot more than the old one. Oh, and we've even got Stash as well. Well done, Valve. I don't know when this change was made, but this is absolutely fantastic. S4 considers the Roar. Noto comes in, gets the stun. Looks like this is going to be enough to buy some space. DD's going to pop, Loda finds Hani, blink away. Now the TP out. Looks like Hani's going to be absolutely fine. No blind stuns or anything like that from NTH. But let's bring up the item panel. Let's have a quick check in on what people are doing. So unfortunately it doesn't show the bears items, so I guess I'll just click on that as I have the panel up. Looks like it's just going to be an armlet for Trixie. No big surprises there. It's sort of been making a splash in the meta of late. It's nicer for single target damage than a Maelstrom. And Ake in trouble. Era spots him out. He does have a blinding light ready to go, but the bear comes in from the opposite direction, and Ake pretty sad right now. Pops his Ghost Scepter as well. Still alive. He brings in S4, but S4 just gets dream crawled and entangled. And S4 will drop as well. NTH, considering the turnaround, they had people moving into position at the same time, but very, very unfortunate for S4 there. Didn't lose a lot of gold, can still afford a Blink Dagger if that's what he's got his heart set on, but those 2 kills, pretty significant for Fnatic, and not just because of the kills, but it should probably be a tower here as well. And one of the very first towers taken by Fnatic in this game. Nice skewer back by Admiral Bulldog on mid. They do manage to kill off Rubik as well. So another missed kill for me. Sorry about that one, guys. Tier 1 tower is going to be taken up on top by Trixie. He's now got his armlet finished up. Okay, so I was talking items, and I think it's just easier to go hero by hero. So Bulldog's finally got his Blink Dagger, as we saw. We've got a Ghost Scepter up on EGM, so the support's doing what they can against the Bear, but Phantom Lancer is just going to be dispelling, or just going to be purging off their Ghost Scepters anyway with his Diffusal Blade, and he's still got 7 charges on his Diffusal 1. Not to mention the 8 charges that he's going to be getting off his Diffusal 2, so the support survivability isn't super high at the moment because of those Ghost Scepters, I have to say, but it will pay off later on in the game. Hani has himself an Invis Rune, but yeah, just backing himself out right now. He's making his way towards a Hex at the moment. Fly, not a whole lot of farm. No Tail, I mean, supports. Not, what can you really expect? And Ake, Illuminate up onto the high ground. Era, well, suspects that something is going on, so he's just going to safely back himself out right now. None too greedy on the farm. And another untouched Phantom Lancer. I have to say that this is just a very scary trend at the moment. When you see a Phantom Lancer who just has 0 deaths, you have to be pessimistic about the opposing team's position in the game. Gold is now back to even, while it was previously in favor of NTH, and XP still heavily in Fnatic's favor. So NTH make the decision to let Loda finish farming up his Manta style, but Loda still in farm mode for now. Looks like the call is to wait around for the next Rosh, but that's another minute and a half away. And Fnatic still harvesting items on 2 big right clickers later on in the game. We've now got the armlet finished up on the Bear. For anyone who didn't know, the armlet works, but it doesn't degen the Bear, but the Bear doesn't benefit from strength because it's not a hero. So the trade-off, Armlet versus Maelstrom on the Bear, they're 2 fairly comparable items, is that it's basically, Armlet is 100 gold cheaper. It gives regen and armor, which a Maelstrom doesn't, and then Armlet is a little bit more damage, and then the trade-off is that you obviously don't get the Chain Lightning. So Armlet is better single target. Maelstrom, there's an argument to be made that it's slightly better for pushing, though single target damage is great for towers with Demolish, so it's not too surprising that Armlet has become pretty popular on Lone Druid of late. And sort of, I guess, Aui's build. Maelstrom was also his build, though maybe it's unfair to just, pin that specifically on AUI, not Aui. But yeah, it's nice. It's been nice to see. I guess the one pesky thing is that if your Bear dies, you do have to turn the Armlet back on, but it's not a big deal for most players. So anyway, Loda is still just happily farming away, but Era is almost finished up. Well, has almost finished up his Manta style, so that first survivability item going to be up in just a second, and I really think that NTH, the strategy was there, the lineup was there, but they got stalled in the mid game, and it's starting to look not bleak. I mean, they haven't been pushed back to their racks or anything like that. But, I mean, Hani making his way towards a Hex at the moment, that's not going to be too far away. And NTH really just waiting around for this next Roshan, who has now spawned. And NTH the only ones with vision over that at the moment. And Fnatic just non-stop warding on these Ancients. I mean, kudos to them. And, oh, whoops. Sorry about that one, guys. No-Tail comes up, and Era and No-Tail able to kill off Loda there. Sorry about that one, guys. Again, another missed kill for me. I've been a little bit out of practice. I haven't done a cast in about a week since I did the last game from this set. So another missed kill for me. I'm sorry about that one. But fairly straightforward. I mean, just support with Disable comes up, kills Loda. Loda doesn't have a BKB. Can't really escape, so. Fnatic now on the front foot. Loda does have buyback available, so Fnatic, instead of trying to go for Rosh, they're just going to try and take down some towers. It's less of a priority for NTH, so they're just going to let Loda respawn and sort of lose a tower in the process. Stalled a little bit there by the Enfeeble, but I mean, Bear still just slapping away. And that's still 3 points of an enfeeble, so the bear is actually doing some pretty significant damage, given that it's right-clicking through the enfeeble, but talking about significant damage, I mean, Trixie has a Sacred Relic up now, not going to be too far away from that, well, not going to be too far away from his Radiance, so... NTH, I think the Worm has finally turned. They're going to get in position for Rosh, but we'll see. Fnatic might even be able to contest this one. Trixie just swapping forms because you don't get the HP bonus if you level up his ultimate. If you are in ultimate form and you level up the ultimate, then you don't get the immediate HP bonus from the next rank. You have to switch out and switch back in. If anyone is ever curious about why you see lone druids randomly swapping around, it's not random. There is an explanation for it. Fnatic not going to opt to try and contest Rosh. They're going to try and go up top for a little bit of pushing. Ake needs to be extraordinarily careful. Hani might just jump him at any time. Though Hani's actually just backed off into the jungle right now. And Loda now dragged up towards top, but needs to be careful. We saw what happened earlier on, and NTH managed to catch out Fly in the Radiant jungle right now. Again, sorry guys, I'm just not really paying enough attention to the minimap at the moment, but a nice little kill picked up by NTH. Unfortunately for them, however, being forced up towards top to try and sort of deal with the push there from Hani and Era, who are just camping out right now. Meanwhile, Trixie is just finishing up his Radiance and getting ready to split push down on bot. And the Bear just doing a little bit of scouting on mid for the moment. But Fnatic have just masterfully bought themselves a lot of time. NTH haven't been the aggressors for a little while. Yeah, I'm not sure what else there is to say at the moment. Might be worth pointing out, I'm not sure. Mantis may or may not dispel Empower. BKB definitely does. I feel like Mantis probably does. This is something that I should be more clear on. But there have been some weird interactions with Empower for the last little while. Though I think that the majority of them may have been fixed. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the dispel ability works with Mantis as opposed to BKB. BKB definitely dispels Empower now, as it should. And it has always been, but Rage wasn't dispelling Empower properly. And I guess we'll get the answer to our question fairly soon, since Admiral Bulldog is down here. Era gets spotted, immediately doppelwalks. Dust pops from NTH, but it's not going to spot out the very speedy Phantom Lancer. Trixie just going to happily split push on mid. He's got the Radiance up in the Bear, so he is just a speed demon as far as bringing down towers is concerned. And with this tier 2 tower on mid, he's going to bring everything back to square. We'll bring everything back to even as far as towers are concerned. So it's about a 4k gold lead now in favor of Fnatic, with about an 8k experience lead as well. NTH trying to finally make use of this Aegis. They really didn't get that much out of the first one. Fly just with the Nature's Call up right now. And Trixie, he's just mid. He's trying to trade, and he's actually coming out on top right now. Tier 3 is going to fall in both directions, but in comes Fnatic. They immediately pop S4. He's going to buy back, but Trixie is already onto the racks. He's going to get one. Back down on bot. Reverse connect on 3. Nice work by Admiral Bulldog. Brings everybody back in. And Lodeberg now standing his ground. Pops up the Eclipse. It only really clears out some illusions. Era standing his ground as well. Loda, Aegis pops. Grip up on No Tail. Stolen by Fly. Gonna wait for Loda to respawn before he throws that one out. Ready to go. There's the Grip. In comes the illusions. Wailing away on Loda. Nice sleep onto Fly. Cancels that Fiend's Grip. Fight continues right now. Up in the dire base as well. S4 chopping away at Trixie along with Admiral Bulldog. He's just going to TP himself out. Looks like it's a Rax in both directions. Hani running away from his base. Turns around. Throws the Hex. Phase Shift's going to be up in just a second as well. He's got the Blink cooling down. Probably going to blink himself back. No. Continues to chase out. Manages to dodge out of the way of that Lucent Beam just with the jaunt. It's still there, however. And Loda going to be able to put an end to the Puck's life. So let's take stock. We had a melee barracks taken on bot. We had a melee barracks taken on mid. We had a buyback from Notail. We had a buyback from Admiral Bulldog. We had a buyback from S4. They did not TP back to base. They bought back to try and fight Trixie. And we had buybacks from the 2 Radiant supports. So overall, more expensive buybacks from NTH. And they find themselves, again, a sort of even trade overall. But Trixie, just an absolute menace on mid. And had it not been for those buybacks, he probably would have gone for the tier 3 tower down on bot as well. So Fnatic, I mean, they've they've been bringing things back up to par as far as most metrics are concerned, with towers and whatnot, and trading evenly, for this one time. Not going to be too concerned about that, especially since they were fighting against an Aegis, so it wasn't really even. And they forced unequal buybacks as well. They forced NTH to buy back on heroes that actually can farm towards more significant items, while the supports, it doesn't really matter if they're forced to blow a couple of buybacks. And Rubik still with the Fiend's Grip up, which is really nice for him. Can even pick himself up a Blink Dagger at the moment, but just going to TP out. Might just be a Force Staff. We'll have to see. So things looking pretty good for Fnatic at the moment. We've got the Mantstall finished up on Era now, but another 4k gold in the bank. Still just completely unblemished on this Phantom Lancer. Still not a death to his name. Still a little bit behind Loda as far as farm is concerned, and Loda going for a Butterfly. So just trying to get that right-clicking done, but again, it's not really quick enough to deal with the Phantom Lancer illusions, just at the rate that they can spawn. So Loda just pumping out the damage, needs to be extremely careful just about the Hex on Puck and about, well, what is still a Fiend's Grip up on Rubik right now. And this is just going to be a Force Staff from Fly. So a bit more mana, a bit more maneuverability. Doesn't really need the a blink, unless he steals reverse. But hopefully Admiral Bulldog's going to be diligent about that one. So Bulldog now making his way towards what looks to be a pipe. We've got a Necrobook up on EGM right now. But NTH back on the back foot for a little bit, not feeling super confident without the Aegis in hand. But it's about 4 minutes away from the next one, so we'll see. Fnatic now on even footing. I guess I sort of walked into talking about it being even as far as the trade was concerned, but sort of concluded that it wasn't really in the end. And now it's actually even for Fnatic. The team fight is head on. If they kill Loda by just throwing a finger of death on him, then he's out of the fight. He can buy back, potentially, but more or less he's pretty much out of the fight. And I was trying to work out whether Mantistel dispelled Overpower based on the cooldown and the duration on Empower, but I couldn't quite do it, and I realized it didn't actually work. So okay, so it doesn't dispel. We see it there. Thanks, Loda. It gives me the confirmation. So Mantistel does not dispel friendly buffs, doesn't dispel Empower. Not 100% sure. I'm gonna have to go brush up after this. Makes me realize that, and maybe once I brush up, I'll have to release a little video with my most concise summary that I can figure out. Okay, walks out super aggressively right now into the retreating Fnatic side, who looks like they're just gonna continue to retreat right now. Era has his Heart finished, another 1k gold in the bank. Trixie continues to farm. Now is his Hyperstone up, AC not too far away. Looks like NTH still just waiting around for the next rush. If anyone is having trouble reading this timer, this section is broken. The filled-in section appears to be broken, but the outer ring appears accurate as far as I can tell. So it's 1, 2, 3. You just count around. 3 minutes away to the next Roshan. But yeah, NTH just farm positions for a little bit and hoping that they can take the fight in the Rosh Pit to be able to secure that Aegis and then go and get a second Rax. And a second Rax would hopefully turn into a third, and that would be the game, but we'll see if that's going to be the case. Era still yet to use another Diffusal Blade charge just yet, though maybe hasn't been stopped too much by the Ghost Scepters at the moment on NTH. And Admiral Bulldog, well, still a little way away from that. Yeah, still a little way away from that pipe. So both teams just contentedly farming right now, waiting around for sort of the next objective. As far as warding is concerned, I haven't done as much talking about warding as I would like this game. Normally I'm a little bit more attentive about the wards, and I'm a little bit more attentive on my map awareness. But anyway, again, Fnatic still blocking out the Ancients whenever they possibly can. We've just got sort of river wards from both sides right now, just keeping tabs on any movements across either way. I really like this ward from NTH. There's the potential for them to try and smoke in and around, sort of in this direction, and maybe catch out a Phantom Lancer or someone like that farming. But yeah, right now it's sort of just farming positions, and both teams sort of not wanting to risk anything before Roshan respawns. And as you can see, NTH very, very diligently sort of camping it out right now. And looks like this may have just been rotated a little bit. Yeah, that's what's happened. So this filled in section has been turned a certain number, so this wedge should actually be over here, I think. Not sure, maybe it's intended by Valve, so this middle section looks like a countdown that fills in, and this one's sort of the opposite. Who knows? It's probably just a little bug with the replay at the moment, since we've had a patch since this replay was played out, but anyway. So that's sort of what we're waiting for right now. We're just waiting for Roshan to respawn. Both teams paying particular attention to the lane that has been raxed in, since that one's going to be sort of naturally pushing in a little bit more, though NTH have some really quick counter push, so sort of fine for them. And Loda throws illusions up towards top just to try and clear things out and maybe force Fnatic into defending this lane so that they wouldn't be able to come and stop Rosh. And looks like Rosh now respawning, so both teams sort of in position to try and go for this. The advantage going the way of NTH with this top lane pushing in. Era's going to have to head across to try and deal with that, and as soon as he reveals himself, NTH might feel confident enough to just walk straight into the pit. Is that going to be the case? They've got a gem up on S4. They're finally going to be able to get the D-ward off on their Ancients, and now they just clear up the Roshan pit a little bit, ready to head in. So nicely done by Loda, sends the illusions top, gets Era to head across to try and clear that out. Not sure if Fnatic were really going to try and contest anyway. It didn't look like they were too bothered. And Aegis and Cheese now up for NTH. So the next 6 minutes, very, very crucial for them. Not necessarily do or die, but I mean, if Loda dies twice, then they are just in a really bad spot. He does almost have buyback up, but I mean, he's not going to get that much stronger. He's only really got one item slot remaining. He's picked up a BKB as well, so a little bit less susceptible to that Hex on Puck. Though we'll see. Fly might be able to steal something with some BKB Pierce between the Roar, the Fiend's Grip, and between Roar, Fiend's Grip, and Reverse. So both teams pushing in right now. Hani's going to go back. They're going to leave Era to push at least for a little bit. He needs to be careful if he doesn't get a TP cancelled by sort of an incidental support. EGM could go back, and Ake could bring him back in. So it looks like Era just playing it cautiously right now. He's going to TP straight back to the fountain. Needs to get some mana up. Loda heads up onto the high ground, pops his Manta style already. Oh, and Tangle up on EGM. He's tanking the tower as well. He's going to be in trouble. No jaunt from the Puck just yet. BKB pops from Loda, however, he's going straight to work onto the tower. Era comes in, S4 at the front, heads off to the side, gets hexed up as he walks too close to Hani. Will he drop? He's got the cheese ready to go. Pops the mech, pops the cheese. Nice dream call on 4 from Hani. EGM in a little bit of trouble off to the side, looking for the Fiend's Grip. Era comes in, finger on Loda, still alive. Pipe pops fairly low, still with the Aegis. Skewer back onto just an illusion from Admiral Bulldog, just trying to get out of this fight. Fnatic repel them successfully. Trixie able to bring down EGM off to the side. Loda already dead. Fnatic with the surround. NTH scattering to the wind. Loda immediately hexed up, and he's gonna drop. Buyback from Loda. We've got the very angry bear chasing down a very sad Keeper of Light, and no Tidehunter. Just not a great fight from them. They had to pop a lot really early on. I'm not sure what S4 was doing walking across here. Walked straight into the Hex, forced to blow the cheese fairly early, and just the Radiance Burn absolutely shredding No Tidehunter as they tried to make it up onto the high ground. A fairly early BKB pop as well from Loda wasn't enough to muscle through the racks. And so Fnatic were just happy to just chip away, let the Radiance Burn do its work. And now with that Aegis, without cheese, and without buyback on Loda, Fnatic really have to be confident about their position in this game. You've got an AC finished up on the Bear. Net worth just ridiculous for both Era and for Trixie. And for an offlane / jungle lone druid, Trixie has done a fantastic job in this game. No deaths to his name either. All of the deaths sort of just soaked up by the supports and Hani at the moment for Fnatic. So nicely done by Fnatic, keeping their carriers safe, and I guess a testament to some nice defensive play from them. And NTH, not done just yet, but it's going to take the reverse polarity of the century, I think, for them to get through the wall that's represented by the Lone Druid and the Phantom Lancer. Phantom Lancer only 10 gold away from being able to afford buyback. That looks like just upgrading his boots right now. Pretty much completely decked out with this Boots of Travel. So not going to have buyback. Trixie doesn't have it either at the moment, but I don't know if NTH actually have enough damage to kill both of them. I've got, 2.5k health up on the Lone Druid and 28 armor, and we've also got, 34 armor on a level 21 PL just because of his absolutely absurd agility growth. So he's really, really difficult to bring down. We've got a Blink Dagger up on No Tail as well. And NTH just looking a little bit lost right now. Maybe considering, maybe thinking that, okay, this is our game plan. We can either smoke, get a pick off, and try and go for end, which is sort of what's happening right now. Or the other option is wait until Fnatic come to them, and then try and wipe them out, push down mid, and end the game. We actually had a ranged barracks incidentally taken up on top by Fnatic. Looks like Illusions just managed to get enough creeps in to clear that one out. So while they held mid, they actually got something, well, not hugely significant out, but getting that tier 3 down, a pretty big deal. Sorry about not noticing that one, guys. That's a big deal up on top lane. And NTH not just smoking, looking for the pick-off, but Fnatic not being very obliging right now. Oh, they need S4 to be ready to go. I mean, he's got his blink range. He's probably got his blink range up and just raring to jump on someone, but I mean, if they jump one of the supports, then again, it's still not a really big deal. And they can't wait around for the next Roshan, and looks like the counter has finally decided to fix itself, so I'm not sure about that one. It's about 5 minutes away to the next Roshan. Looks like NTH are just going to try and wait for it, relying on the fact that they feel that every Roshan is sort of an advantage that belongs to them, but I mean, Era contentedly pushing in up on top. Fnatic not really leaving anyone, not leaving any stragglers hanging around at the moment, just continuing to farm, keeping Trixie covered. He's almost completely filled out on the bear, probably picking up an MKB with that Demon Edge. And now Fnatic going for a smoke of their own, looking to lock this game out with this smoke. Loda gets a little bit more farm. Looks like he's just making his way towards the Satanic right now. Doesn't have buyback off cooldown, so should probably just spend the gold. Looks like, yep, Satanic Recipe flying out right this second. So, has that one up. Some nice survivability, and a pseudo Aegis / cheese. Pseudo big bursty survivability item for him there. And Fnatic just looking for a pick off as well. Both teams trying to find the easy out to this game. But NTH playing pretty defensively right now. So Trixie's going to head back. This bottom lane is pushing in. It does pose a little bit of a threat to these tier 4s. And Trixie just wants a little bit more farm as well. We've got a Blink Dagger it up now on Fly. So he's got, 2 or 3 screens worth of mobility between the Force Staff and the Blink Dagger. And NTH just continuing to sort of huddle up. And I guess wait for this next Roshan is the plan right now. Or wait till Fnatic until Fnatic overextend and try and push up onto the high ground. Trixie almost has buyback available, though I think he might just farm his way towards that MKB straight out. And Era, nothing to do except really sit on top of that buyback gold right now. Could sell off the drum for something, something a little bit better, but he's almost completely tapped. He's almost completely capped out at the moment. Aside from maybe selling the drum and buying a Daedalus, but not sure 100% if we're going to see that. If there's going to be a Vlad, it's going to be on one of the supports, or it's going to be on Trixie. But for now, both teams just farming. Not sure the advantage. XP over 15k in favor of Fnatic right now, but a 14k gold lead as well. Just ridiculously well farmed right now. I mean, net worth. Yes, Loda is doing well, but Hani now eclipsing S4, and S4 with the Shiva's up, so still some nice items. A good one to have, especially against the Shiva's great to have against the Lone Druid and the Phantom Lancer, but not really game changing at this point. And Fly walks in, just blinks himself away immediately as he gets up onto that high ground. And still the Ancients being warded by Fnatic. I think thumbs up to them. And I mean, even though S4 has a gem, having to walk over every single time that Loda wants to farm the Ancients is just a waste of his time. Yeah, and Loda just sort of forced to farm in lane right now. And these Pale Illusions just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Loda's just going to try and run his Illus out because the PL just keeps splitting. And it's miss on miss on miss right now. And we might even see an MKB from PL as well to round things off as opposed to crit. But right now, 4k gold, I'm going to be happy with buyback plus travels to get back into a fight with a bit of a pseudo Aegis. So right now, looks like this isn't actually fixed. We're about a minute and a half out from Rosh, and NTH just patiently waiting around for that one. But Fnatic finally going to be staking their claim to an attempt at Roshan. Trixie's going to push down on bot. He's got 3k gold up, so could finish his MKB if he so desires. We'll see if that's going to be the call, or maybe just save for buyback right now. We shall have to see. Playing pretty defensively, just leaving the bear to sort of lead right now. And NTH forced to sort of deal with what's happening up on top. Though Era in position to get some pushing done as well, so I'm not sure if NTH are actually going to be able to contest this rush. Bottom lane needs work, but it is naturally pushing itself out, so that's sort of just a stopgap for Fnatic right now. Mid lane looks pretty even, but there is a Rax in favor of Fnatic there, and it's only a ranged Rax in favor up on top, but Hani and Era, well, up there to make sure that it feels like even more. So NTH looks like they're just going to try and head into rush right as it spawns. There is vision up for Fnatic, however. So they know exactly what's happening, and I think they just might try and push in on top. This melee barracks is both very vulnerable and very, very valuable. So it looks like NTH, are they going to just loop around and try and head up? No, Loda heads into the pit. Era, Illusions make their way up onto the high ground. The Rax might just be traded away here. Era going to commit with his hero as well, and NTH, no interest whatsoever in stopping this. Looks like EGM walking back a little bit. But one Rack's already gone. The ranged Racks on mid will fall as well. And NTH, Cheese on the floor. We've got Trixie off to the side. They managed to grab the bear. Going to skewer it back as well. I don't think there's going to be an out. No, the bear actually manages to escape. The tier 4 is under threat. In comes S4, gets the roar off on Era. He's still extraordinarily tanky, however, 4 staff away from Hani as well. And Era, now with the turnaround onto S4, all of his mana completely gone. Nice reverse, catches 2. Hani, Fiend Script up as well. In comes Fly, only manages to grab the Shockwave. Eclipse is going to pop off over the top. Loda's still alive. BKB pops 1 for 1 so far, just supports, right clicks away. But Loda's still alive. Has he popped the Satanic just yet? Yes, he has. A little bit of extra survivability there. Era makes his way into the base. Keeper of Light with the buyback. Loda splitting both carries off to either side, but Trixie able to bring down Admiral Bulldog as well. In comes No Tail. Back to the fight, still has another stun. Loda still with the Aegis up, but if he drops once, he's probably going to drop twice. And Trixie and Era now right on top of him. Admiral Bulldog comes back in with the buyback, but Loda just surrounded, immediately hexed by Hani jumping back in. In comes S4 for round 2, but the bear just bringing him low. And Fnatic, just too much right click at the moment. Loda chain stunned to his doom, stands his ground, pops the Titanic, still surviving for now, but can't quite right click through the mischance on Era right now. Buyback from Loda as well, but it's a 10 kill lead in favor of Fnatic. And it's just sort of the last legs right now for NTH. S4 comes in, he's got a roar, throws it on Trixie, but Trixie is just so tanky. Bulldog with the skewer back. Trixie almost brought down, does have a buyback ready to go. Looks like Era gonna back himself out. 9k gold in the bank for him. Fortification will pop from NTH. But they throw everything at that fight and still only barely come out in the positive. It's about a 20k experience lead and a 20k gold lead in favor of Fnatic right now. I mean, a huge amount of gold up on Phantom Lancer as well. Really should, I think, buy an MKB instead of having this drum, but doesn't really matter. His damage output is still absolutely absurd. So, yeah, Fnatic. Well, there's no resummon on the bear for Trixie, so he's a little bit weak at the moment despite that buyback. But NTH forced to play defensively at least for a little while. And both of these lanes are now fully pushing in with the remaining Raxes having been taken. So, yeah, just NTH, oh, not really on their last legs. They still managed to hold on to the cheese after that fight. So Lotus still has something up his sleeve right now. But I mean, even with the Aegis, even with the Satanic, hasn't really been able to stand up to both Era and Trixie. And now NTH 4 in on mid. Loda's making his way towards, well, just clearing out top as he gets dragged towards mid. And NTH, this is the all-in. This is it. This is the man push. There's only 2 buybacks on the field between, well, both on Fnatic's side right now, and they are the defending side as well. 10k gold in Era's coffers right now, and just the illusions being such a pest. Loda down at half mana, needs to be careful, pops the Manta Style, but immediately gets hexed. Can he even pop the cheese? Gets fingered, still alive for now, pops the cheese, turns himself around. BKB now pops, Admiral Bulldog threatens the reverse, runs out of mana before he can even cast it, brought down by the illusions. Now the bear slamming away, the Eclipse is going to pop it, it's only really hitting fake PLs, fake PLs, fake PLs. S4 now in trouble. Nice Fiend's Grip, finds the real Era there, but it's silence from Honey, brings him out of that one, and now Loda just slammed down. Triple kill for Era. Ultra kill, looking for the Rampage. Going to be denied there by Honey. But all of NTH now gone. No buybacks left, and the GG well played is going to be called. So Fnatic, the triumphant victors. Unfortunately, NTH just couldn't find the time, couldn't find the strength to be able to go and deal with the Lone Druid, with the Phantom Lancer, and just sort of let them farm, sit there to their own devices. And in the end, I just think Aegis advantage was never really enough. They had an Aegis that they sort of let go by the wayside because they wanted to farm up Manta Style on Loda. So they didn't really get that much out of that Aegis. They could have maybe even delayed that Roshan a little bit. The experience was really nice. They got level 6 on Bulldog out of it, but in the end just couldn't keep the momentum going, couldn't keep it punchy enough to be able to get them to the high ground, take an early Rax, and what they really needed to do against the Phantom Lancer. So thanks everyone for tuning in. This has been the Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational. This is a replay of Fnatic versus NTH. This is game 2 of a best of 3 set. And it's now tied up 1-1. I've been Basekip bringing you guys this game. If you guys have any feedback for me as far as my casting goes, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment or send me an email at basekipdota@gmail.com. I do read all of the comments. I do check my email regularly, so I'd love to hear from you guys. Don't leave feedback about missing kills. I'm really sorry about that one this game, guys. Map awareness failed me a little bit this game, but would love to hear some constructive feedback. I'm going to be putting out a whole lot more replays over the next couple of days, and probably another quick guide as well, trying to get back on top of everything. If anyone is in the Brisbane area, come along to LAN Smash next week. It's a LAN event happening in Brisbane. You can just Google it. You'll find all the details. I'll be casting a Dota 2 event for them there, so if you guys have a team, I think sign-ons are still open for that. Other reminders for April, we've got Tide's Wrath coming up, $1,500 prize pool for that one. I'll probably be providing some casting, some big names participating as well. Should be some good Oceanic/SEA Dota. That's about it. I think the Oceanic Dota Cup will resume next week if anyone has a casual team or just a team that they would like to participate in that tournament. It's a $50 prize available weekly. Some good practice against some good teams in the region. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. I've been Basekip, and I hope to see you for future broadcasts.